Well, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Chronogo bringing you another Cause Monarchy match. It's so good to see some more Askosi versus Zerg, and different players this time. We got Shopkeeper Dog, as of the time of recording, still alive in the throne room stage, rocking out as the green Askosi, and he is in the top right. Cross positions here, HippityHoppity, the Magma Zerg, a newer player to join our ranks. I also saw that there's a couple other new guys that have been playing more casual games. Maybe I'll get around to casting some of them. You might even see some versus AI games on the channel, so leave a comment letting me know if you think that that would be a fun time or not, because I do have some confirmed working replays of them, you know, some 2v2 noobs that may be of interest. We'll see. But, of course, team games have also been being played more often. Those free-for-alls have been played more often. So, you know, you're going to see some cool stuff as time goes on. But, yeah, comment below what you think would be a good matchup. You know, we obviously have all these custom game modes, too, that we aren't really getting a chance to see too often. It would be pretty nifty, pretty snazzy to check that out. Now, with the Radix already done, and the Landlock coming, we know that our Askosi player, Shopkeeper Dog, comes in as a heavy favorite in this matchup in general, and is going to be rocking and rolling against the Zerg. He's probably going to be going for the Proselyte Missionary opener that basically stabilizes versus any early rush. Missionary is very, very good against pool units, which is exactly what we're going to have for Hippity here. So, historically, not a player who gets a lot of practice playing styles that aren't super pool-focused, so we'll see if he's evolved his game since then, because it's been some days since we've actually casted him. And I think a lot of the times that we were casting him were all games played, like, pretty much back-to-back, as far as I recall, so just something worth pointing out. Now, HippityHoppity and Shopkeeper Dog played a ton of games, so I guess even if, you know, either player ends up losing, regardless of who loses this game, we're going to be looking at this and assuming that there was a lot of matches played. I might do more head-to-heads here, and it looks like they played a lot of games specifically on Blackwater Bastion, scrolling through Replay Kraken here. That's cosmonarchy.com/matches if you want to see that. You get to see ranked games that have been played, and the replays will be posted. And they let you know some information about it, like which races were involved and all that. Eventually it'll come with like scores, stats. One thing that Veek has been working on that hasn't yet seen the light of day is a hype score figure that basically says, is this replay a good replay? You know, and it'll track things like, you know, did you have like Star Sovereigns made that made Grief of All Gods cast or whatever, you know? It can be pretty nifty there. Looks like this Pilgrim's not long for this world, as the Zets are going to go ahead and gang up on it, trying to dip dodge and see what he can find, but he's going to get a scout on the third Larvos. That is some kind of information, but he doesn't get a chance to see if there's a natural, and it is indeed on the way. The Zets for HippityHoppity did get banged up as they scouted the cross position. I don't actually think he saw the landlock in the natural either, so just another thing that like neither player is super aware of the expansion timing, but I'm sure they'll surmise that an expansion is coming. Love to see the, you know, as player skill and the general meta evolves, we're seeing players just much more, you know, obviously scoring up towards that extra base count, you know. This is a game where I think for a while, some people were noticing some games ended in, you know, before 10 minutes. And in those kinds of games, you wouldn't even see a lot of, you know, multi-base gameplay. But actually, like, defaulting towards third bases seems to happen more and more frequently now. Even at the sub-high level, but also at the highest level that we have. So that's pretty cool. You know, obviously a Askosi match is notwithstanding. Cypher already on the way. Shopkeeper Dog well aware that there's a potential for a Shroud. And I'm sure we'll see HippityHoppity flex into that as well. But Lake is when, you know, our Lurker equivalent, so you can morph directly from Larva as opposed to the Hydra. You do have to give some respect to that as the Askosi player. You know, playing as the new race of cybernetic lizards. Shopkeeper Dog really needs to make sure that he has his mobile detection available. And there it is. Just as we said, the Shroud coming out for HippityHoppity. Worker count much higher than the Askosis. And not because you would typically have it, but it's because of this right here. We got 10 proselytes. Those could have been 10 workers and probably then some, considering the training time of the proselyte is a little bit higher than the training time of the Pilgrim, if memory serves. I believe I had tried to make that a deliberate choice. Actually, no, that's not true. They both have the same training time and same costs, so according to the website. So there you go. A little bit of an easy choice to make in that respect, I guess. Mimics coming out. Radix number 3 and number 4 now on the way. Gauntlet also coming for that tier 2 access, as well as, of course, the ever-important Vicar for combat units. But the mimics here are to hold a rush-oriented timing. That's these eyelets here also provide you with that much-needed, vision and detection. Albeit their vision range isn't the greatest, right? It's only 6 sight range, but it is a detector, so you can definitely keep that in mind. More radixes, more dyads now. Yep, this is a shopkeeper dog game, all right. And there's the Ulgorg. So what I actually like about HippityHoppity's adjustment here over the typical ZVA meta that I see is he's not going to spend too much time making Bactals. He's not going to spend too much time making Lakes. He's actually focusing on the front line with the Zoryus. So any sort of push that goes across the map is probably going to be well defended. But him basically catapulting directly to the Ulgorg, as he is doing right now, is going to give him access to our Ultralisk equivalents in Cosmonarchy, the Ultra Core, which has lifesteal. And it's a really beefy unit that the proselytes will deal full damage to, but, I mean, you're talking about 8 damage. You know, it's not a stupendous amount. Lifesteal right back. Mimics are going to do their best to multiply the damage, but how much damage can you actually multiply when you're only talking about 8 damage anyway from each proselyte? So if you have a bunch of Ultra Cores, that can be a really big boon to your army. We do actually have Lakes coming now, which is maybe a questionable spend when you already had the Ulgorg almost complete, and you can now only start 1 Ultra Core as a result of 7 Lakes being started. So that feels like maybe a bit of a macro spending error. He's also made an Agrolith, which, you know, it'll take some time before it starts really paying off dividends there, but anti-drop defense doesn't suck. Not really a lot of Askosi players bothering for drops, but look at this. The Dyads have been here to make Radixes and Cosmoscopes, so maybe I spoke too soon. Shopkeeper Dog opting for some tirades, I think, is actually what we're going to see out of that, which is a nifty little bit. We got those Lakes pushing forward. I'm guessing we're going to see a fairly, like a surround-based engagement here. The third base obviously off to the side on Blackwater Bastion, a map by BiddyB, or Cosmonarchy original. Not a port of anything. But the Lakes can, you know, pressure one side while the rest of the army moves to another. They can try to force the Mimics to engage, but definitely better to move together. And he's even going to go ahead and make some Vorvs on the front line. That Lake is going to get lit up, immediately felled. Remember the... Actually, not so many Vicars in this composition. Most of the damage is going to be from those proselytes just trying to clear through. But the first Ultra Core is sighted. That's the only one on the front line. And most of the chaff is already killed by everything. Right-clicking onto those Ultra Cores as well. A second one arrives, but it feels like it's way too late. Doesn't quite get the surround off, and a lot of Hydras being made behind this to replace some of those chaff. Maybe... well, the ski back just now started, so we can't see Bactals just yet. I love it! Inkblot's coming up for Shopkeeper Dog. He wants to take control of those Ultra Cores. We'll see if HippityHoppity has the tech to counter that. Not so many anti-air options for him right now, and it does look like, unfortunately, Shopkeeper Dog, he's kind of getting bisected. His units off the rally aren't even attacking. Now they turn around, try to focus things down. You can see Shopkeeper Dog trying to focus down units that he can, but he's still targeting down the Ultra Core. The Inkblot is necessary for that, my friend. The Pilgrims are going to evacuate the natural. Lake is coming up for a burrow. Sick moves from Hippity. And the Inkblot's going after those frontline units. See what they can do. They try to go ahead and take control. And there it is. 1 out of 3 Inkblots going the way of Shopkeeper Dog. He's stolen the Ultra Core, but it looks like it will be focused down, and that is going to give him his Inkblot back at the very least. The Hydra's remaxing and coming right for the landlock, though. This is really dire. He still hasn't cleared the lake, as I feel like maybe that's what the Inkblots needed to be for, honestly. He's going to go after one of them, surely. It is a detector. No, maybe not. He's not going to bother. And the landlock will endure. It does not burn down. It's not like a Terran structure in that respect, but you can't repair it either, so it's a stiff breeze away from falling over and toppling, along with perhaps Shopkeeper Dog's hopes of stabilizing. He's got these Dyads, but they don't harvest resources, right? So they can only construct. Best he can maybe try to do. Cheeser hog. All right, Gawi. Thanks for announcing that you're witnessing this game. Jesus. Why would you even say such a thing? That's awful. Ah, okay. HippityHoppity feels like he's done enough damage he can pivot into tier 2 off the back of this instead of going for expanding his macro, you know, going for a higher base count or something. He's expanding up the tech tree instead. That's basically what he's doing as his form of, I'm ahead, I'm going to do this. So that's what he's doing behind this attack. This I'm assuming this is an impending attack. He doesn't really much need the lake is. The Iziricors are going to be able to get right on top of the army while the Bactals range it from afar, and the Zoryus will help out with that as well. Albeit no unit here really has the staying power that the Ultra Cores had previously. He's going to go ahead and make 2 of them as his Spire begins back at home. The lake is guarding 12 o'clock. I guess they know they're surplus to requirements. Third base being retaken. Shopkeeper Dog does have a slight worker lead, and this is maybe where you know, if you can get into a dire situation like this versus Hippity's first attack, you might be able to outlast him in the macro in the mid-game. Tirades coming. You think about the kinds of units that'll be good against that. The Hydras are going to be better against them than the Bactals due to their armor. And particularly when they're entrenched, you know, they do basically force an area of the map to be kind of unapproachable. Avaleth coming in. Oh, it's the lake is drop. That's what they're there for. Okay. So he's going to go ahead and unload those as he tries to hit the front. Little does he know, the Askosi army is not in a position to defend the third base, so I guess he'll just go ahead and step on it. No, he's actually going to go for the attack. Drop comes out. The Lakers are going to be in a position to get immediately dove on. But problem is, the rest of the army is here, and oh no! Shopkeeper Dog was not in position to actually attack this. The Tirades going to get flanked and immediately try to put down some damage, but they're all isolated over there off to the side where all the Hydras were. Now you're going to see some mass damage come out, but Shopkeeper Dog, as his natural is knocked out, is going to GG. And we don't even get to 12 minutes, by the way. It's the end of the game. Well, that's all the time we got for now, but Cosmonarchy has yet another match in the can. Another video tomorrow, and we'll probably trick up at a different matchup since this was a lot of ZVA back-to-back 3 videos in a row. But I hope you guys appreciate it nonetheless, and we'll see you for another matchup tomorrow. I hope it will be exciting.